Police have used smoke grenades and flashbangs to disperse protesters in the U.S. state of Minnesota on the fourth night of unrest against the police killing of a black man. The protesters chanted the name of the victim, Daunte Wright, in Brooklyn Center and demanded justice for him. The 20-year-old black man was fatally shot by a white officer, Kimberly Potter, who is now charged with second-degree manslaughter. Wright was initially pulled over on Sunday by the police for an expired registration tag on his vehicle. The shooting has once again escalated tensions in Minnesota, where a similar incident last year ignited months of anti-racism rallies and clashes between the protesters and the police. Colin Campbell is our correspondent in Washington, D.C. and joins us now. Colin, welcome. It's good to see you. You'll think the last thing that the Minnesota police officers would have told their comrades is during this era, you know, 1 year is almost 1 year since the fatal killing of
George Floyd.
Of George Floyd, the graphic killing, I was going to say, of George Floyd. You'll think they'll keep the calm there, but they've only gone and killed another African American.
Yeah, this is going to continue to keep happening unless there are serious policies and regulations that amend the way that police do business. There are myriad ways of things that people have bounced around, different members of the community coming from the business community, religious community, academic community, even law enforcement services themselves, that say there needs to be a different type of training involved if we want these types of occasions and these incidents to be decreased or not to happen at all. One of the things that, one of the ideas that's bounced around is really eliminating the idea of police in general and moving more towards a public safety model where you have officers, there would still be officers or people who patrol, but looking to de-escalate situations and protect the public rather than policing the public. And even though that seems to be a strange distinction where you would say that, okay, they're police that they're still protecting the public, many believe that the way that they become more militarized over the past few years, more aggressive over the past few years, and just their tactical training, how that's changed over the past few years. It's less on protecting the public, but more on policing the public, incarcerating, subjugating, controlling, and trying to bring justice, sometimes extrajudicially, as we've seen with Daunte Wright, as we've seen with George Floyd, and so many other young black men, and sometimes black women as well.
Right, and Colin, very quickly, if you can, you mentioned a very important point there regarding police training. This was a traffic stop. Questions will be raised as to, you know, why a taser wasn't used, but essentially, does a traffic stop warrant a death sentence?
No, it definitely doesn't. And if we remember, the Potter said taser, 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 but then she shot him with her service weapon. She says it was done by accident, but we've heard this before. This happened with Oscar Grant in California. There was a movie called Fruitvale Station starring Michael B. Jordan, which talked about that very incident where a police officer said he was trying to tase Oscar Grant, but instead shot him. And so you're wondering, okay, is this really an accident, or is this a reaction to some of the fears based on stereotypes of black men in this country? So no, having an air freshener or a expired license plate or a signal light out, none of those things should warrant a death sentence, but they can here in America if you're not of the right skin hue.
Very unfortunate. Colin, thank you very much indeed for that. Colin Campbell there, our correspondent joining us out of Washington, D.C.